When us drummers think of the name Ludwig, we think of this. Incredible drummers, a legacy roster, and a history of innovation in our industry. But after my recent trip out to Lenexa, Kansas, the meaning of the name Ludwig has completely changed for me. And now, I think of the legacy of the family and what they represent to our industry. And with that, my friends, I invite you to join me on our very first episode of Making the Kit. And here is the factory, WFL III Drums. This is right here in the small town of Lenexa, Kansas. It's about 20 degrees outside, so this Arizonan is freezing. But what's so great about this is what this spot represents. This factory represents the sound of generations, the Ludwig legacy, the hard work that Bill had to do to get this place, to establish this factory, to start this company. It's a physical representation and embodiment of a dream. And what's so incredible about this is when he got this factory, he actually went around and played his family's marching drum all throughout the factory, thinking about his dad, his grandfather, and the legacy that Ludwig represents. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be able to show this to you guys. And I'm honored to step foot into legacy. So, what do you say? Let's get inside. Bill Ludwig III.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the channel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have had the best couple of days here with the family, but I think for the audience, it's important to understand who is WFL III Drums and what does the company stand for?
Well, basically, I grew up in the drum business with the Ludwig Drum Company and the Ludwig family of that. My grandfather started Ludwig with his bass drum pedal in 1909.
In 1909, William Frederick Ludwig I started the company Ludwig and Ludwig with his brother. Their first big innovation was the very first spring-driven bass drum pedal, completely reshaping how we play the drums, forming really the drum set player, and giving us the ability to hit the kick drum with our foot while playing with our hands. For the next few decades, Ludwig and Ludwig would go on to completely reshape the drumming industry, started offering drums, hardware to all the players of the time.
My father got involved. Then when I was in grade school, I started getting really interested in drumming because I saw drummers at mom and dad's house all the time, or they would take me to concerts, and I said, I want to do that. And then having fun in the factory, literally as a third grader playing in the factory, I just love all aspects of it. And the manufacturing side really got my attention, and I learned from my father and grandfather, if you always have a quality product and good customer service, everything else comes together. So because of a change of events, change of economy and overseas competition and union problems, my father and I sold the company. And when we did that, I learned more from my father about when my grandfather sold the company.
Shortly thereafter, the Great Depression struck. A lot of folks were out of money, and at that time, a lot of the drum companies were being used to create the sounds for movies. Around this time, the movies started to incorporate their own audio into the feature film. At that time, William F. Ludwig decided, you know what, I'm gonna sell the company, and he sold it to C.G. Kahn in 1929, right before the Great Depression truly grasped the country and the families within it.
Because Senior was making sound effects for the silent movies. And literally the next day, all the drummers were out of work.
Yeah.
So he thought he better sell the company. And I didn't know all that until 1981 when we sold. And Dad explained that to me. And, Senior didn't get along with the corporate mentality. And he said, I'm going to go start my own company. And they said, well, we own your name. He said, I'll use my initials, WFL Drum Company.
WFL, of course, standing for William F. Ludwig, and it was essentially his return to independent drum making. Now, he continued to build drums under this banner for several years before in 1955 he was able to purchase back the Ludwig name and thus became Ludwig Drums. At this point, you guys, in the 60s, 70s, Ludwig exploded, bringing on huge drummers like Ringo Starr from the Beatles and John Bonham from Led Zeppelin or Roger Taylor from Queen, and Ludwig became the biggest drum company in the world. And at this point, you guys, we have WFL Senior, WFL Junior, and then of course, William F. Ludwig III, or Bill Ludwig, as we'll come to know him in this video, were all working for Ludwig during this period of time. In fact, Bill was the head of marketing and artist relations at this time, working directly with all of the drummers that we know and love from this time frame. William F. Ludwig Jr. and then of course Bill made the decision to sell to Selmer in 1981.
So I learned a lot from that whole story. Then same thing with me. I didn't quite enjoy the corporate aspect of the drum company after we sold it, and was away from it for 20 years or so. And then after a move to the suburbs with my daughters, we were unpacking and I came across this picture, and at the same time I lost my job in an office environment. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm raising 2 young daughters, and I was hanging this picture of my grandfather, and he looked so proud and so happy testing drums in the factory. And for some reason, I just took it off the wall and looked on the back, and my dad's handwriting said Senior was 63, but then I looked at the date on the picture and did the math, and I figured Senior was 59 when he restarted WFL Drum Company, and I was 59. And I said, that's it. If he can do it, I can do it. So I shopped around with about, 8 or so smaller drum companies to see if they would make a shell to my specs so I could start making. I was going to just start with a snare drum. Didn't get real far, and then I'm friends with Mike Dorfman from Trick. And a friend of mine said, why don't you go talk to Mike? And I said, why didn't I think of that? And so I talked to Mike, and he goes, yeah, I'll make a shell for you. And then he's a metal engineer, and he goes, we can laser cut the 3, because I was going to say WFL 3 is my initials. He said, well, laser cut the 3 as the vent hole. And I thought, oh, I love it. So that was that. I was off and running. Mike was kind enough to give me a corner of his shop to assemble my snares. And so I was taking my daughters to school, running up to Trick, making a couple of snares, getting the girls from school, coming home, cooking dinner, and trying to sell drums. So that's how it started, and it just really started. It didn't grow extremely fast, but the word started getting around pretty quick. Then we did the Chicago Drum Show 12 years ago, I think, or 13 years ago, and got very good response from that, even though the only color I had was black. And people would say, what are your colors? Black, how many do you want? Then we branched out to white, and then we started doing other colors, and it just grew that way until I got to the point where I wanted to start making wood shell snare drums and found a good wood shell to work with, which the next natural step is kits, but I didn't have the finances to get a factory and make that big jump. So I came across a business partner who was a drummer who actually bought one of my snare drums online, and he asked when will it be ready, and I emailed him back, and he said, I can't believe a Ludwig's getting back to me. I said, well, it's my company. Oh my God, I'm a Ludwig collector, and I own a recording studio in Kansas, and on and on and on, and by the way, if you ever need a financial partner, call me. So that was that. I called him. He came on board. We have a great factory outside of Kansas City, and I love going to the factory, hang out, make drums, and promote the company. That's how we got to where we are now. And again, we just focus on quality. Everybody that works here is a drummer and very quality conscious, and we've got some great endorsers that are just very behind us because of the sound.
Hey, I'm John Humphrey from Seether, and I played WFL III drums. In 2020, during the pandemic, I had a friend reach out and ask if it would be okay to give my number to Bill Ludwig. I said, like, Bill Ludwig, as in Ludwig drums? Like, yeah, absolutely, give him my phone number. So Bill gave me a call, we talked a bit, we hit it off. Such a great guy, so personable, and he asked if it would be okay to send me a couple of snare drums, which he did. And I tried them out and they sounded amazing. And he wanted to send me a kit then. So the next step was to get a kit, which I took out on tour with Seether, and it sounded, of course, amazing. Every sound guy that I've ever used the kit with, my front of house guy, my monitor guys, it's so easy to tune. You pull them out of the box. They're American made, such great quality, reinforcement hoops, top and bottom. They sound fantastic and right out of the box. But I've always gotten compliments from sound guys or monitor guys. They just sound fantastic, and they look great too. They'll do any custom paint job I want. I'm a huge fan of the sparkle finishes. When I get home from a tour, I'm barely unpacked. Bill's calling me, okay, what are we doing for the next tour? What's the color scheme going to be? What sparkle do you want? You want big flakes? You want small flakes? You want gradient? You just want silver or red? And I've never had support like that from any other company I've ever been with. He's just so great to work with his daughters and to work with him directly. It's been wonderful. We've done clinics in Kansas City. And again, I've never had this support with any other company. And I like to think it's been a full circle thing for me. My very first drum kit that I ever got was a surprise from my dad when I was 13. For Christmas, we went over to this little old couple's house. We walked in and they're over in the closet. I'm like, what's over in the closet? I had no idea. And I opened the closet and there they were. This beautiful silver sparkle Ludwig drum set. So if my dad were alive, I think he would be blown away to know that I'm working with Bill and playing WFL III drums, and went from this little drum set that he bought for me in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, to, on the world stage, playing with Seether, touring all over, playing WFL III, working with the family, and working with Bill. It's just amazing. One of the guys at his company then sent me a snare prototype. He knew I liked black nickel over brass, and it sounded amazing. 6.5 by 14, black nickel over brass. And he asked, after I tried that prototype, if I would like to do a signature snare. I'm like, what? You don't have to ask me again. It's amazing, again, the support. So that's what Bill did. We put it together, and we have a signature snare, the John Humphrey snare with WFL III. So again, it's an honor to work with him, work with his family, and to play WFL III drums.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Herman with Cowtown Drums in Kansas City, and I'm here today to talk to you about WFL III drums. And I'm going to tell you why I love the WFL III brand. First, it's the only drum brand made by the Ludwig family today. I've been a fan of the Ludwig family drums for 50 years, and it's a brand that I've always enjoyed playing. It's always had my ear. So when I was looking for new drums, I was looking for drums that had that same sound. I met Bill Ludwig, or B3, several years ago at the Chicago Drum Show, and Bill started telling me about the sound he had in his head, the sound of that 3-ply maple mahogany maple from the 1960s that his family made, and I said, that's exactly the sound that I love. So he asked me to try WFL3 at the show, and I was impressed. Since then, I've become friends with Bill. I enjoy working with the WFL3 brand, and I own 3 WFL3 kits. I have 7 snare drums, both the 1909 aluminum and the wood snare drums. And I'm a huge fan because of the sound. The ultra thin ply snare drum and drum kits give me that sound that I'm looking for. And the 1909 model aluminum shell from Trick has a resonance and a presence that is undeniable.
Hey y'all, this is Kyle Law, Nashville live session and touring drummer and proud endorsee of WFL3 Drums, that's right. I met Bill Ludwig a couple years ago when I was out on tour with a guy named Tim Montana. We were opening for a band called Cedar. I was introduced to Bill through John Humphrey, their drummer. That day we went back to the factory, and honestly, man, for me it was love at first sight when I saw these drums. I could tell immediately that there was an immaculate attention to detail, and it all comes out in the sound and the way that these drums look, man, and honestly the overall professionalism of the company. They're extremely family oriented. They take care of their guys. For me, it's WFL3 all day, every day, baby. I love them.
Hello, I'm Kofi Baker, Ginger Baker's son, and I play WFL3 drums. And these are those drums. And I have an 8, a 10, a 12, a 14, and a 16. And these are the square drums, a 16 by 16 and a 14 by 14. These are a 12 by 8, a 10 by 8, and an 8 by 8. So that's a square drum as well. And the bass drums is a 20 by 18 and a 22 by 18, so 18 deep. And they are 3-ply shells with a reinforcement hoop, and they sound amazing. These drums have the same sound that my dad's drums had. We had the silver sparkle finish, so they look exactly the same as my dad's drums, but these sound as good, insanely good sounding drums. I know Bill because my dad's drums were made by Bill Ludwig II, and so my drums are made by Bill Ludwig III. So it's a whole family thing. His dad made the drums for my dad. So that's how we know each other. So I had a tour coming up, so we built me the kit, and we went out on the tour. We put the Kofi Baker heads, so it's like looks like the cream. So he had the same shells ingredients, so he made it exactly the same. But the reason I play these drums is mainly because they sound insanely good and they mimic my dad's sound, and that's what I've been doing is Sons of Cream. So they built this kit to sound like my dad's kit because they have the same ingredients, because obviously they're Ludwig family. So that's why I play these drums this. But I will probably end up maybe having another kit which sounds different. But this one is perfect for what I'm doing. It's silver sparkle and everything. And that's the reason I play it.
I based everything off the sound. I wanted something, I know what a good drum should sound like. So to get that into the drums and out there, which we have done, I'm very happy with. And Nordic Shell Company is making our wood shells. Trick still makes our aluminum snare shell. And we use the Trick throw-offs on all our snares across the board. But the Nordic shells are beautiful. They make their own plies. They cut everything extra thin for us. So we've got a thin, all maple shell. Resonant, tone is phenomenal. Sound engineers love them. Drummers love them. Even band members will comment, I hear, when somebody gets a kit, that they stop at rehearsal and go, wow, that sounds cool. I'm just having a ball getting back in the drum business.
I think you said something in there that I want to make sure is really clear as we move through the interview. Ludwig Drum Companies, the corporation, was sold in 1981.
Correct.
Totally separate.
Yes.
This is the only company today that is owned by an actual Ludwig.
Correct.
And that is WFL3 Drums.
That's right.
And
I'm also very happy and proud to say both my daughters, Olivia and Maggie, are now getting more involved in the company and playing drums. Mm-hmm. So this is just blowing my mind.
Yeah, 4th generation.
Yeah, And that's why our tagline, the sound of generations, was basically because of my grandfather, my father, myself, and now to have my daughters involved, it's perfect. Perfect line.
You said this a little bit, but I want the audience to hear this. How close to the original, Ludwig sound that everybody knows do you feel that you are?
Well, I think we're there. I mean, sound-wise, because people will come up at a convention. I do the 4 smaller drum shows a year, which is great. The drum shows, everybody's a drummer.
Yeah.
And they play them and they go, oh, the classic sound. I mean, within seconds of touching them with a stick. So I'm confident we've got the sound. Yeah. And years ago, we quit using wraps because of the shrinkage problems, and we got into paints, which we are now expanded into any color you want, but you could either have a gloss, or you could add a sparkle, or our new multicolored Galaxy Sparkle, which just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And under stage lights, it's just beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And even some of the stains that that you've been working through as well. I got a chance to see some of it, and we'll show it here in the video. I mean, truly innovative in the sense of, I think a lot of people feel that you need a wrap to get some of these finished looks, and that's not true anymore.
No.
Some of these paint finishes, I was convinced were wraps until I put my hands on them.
Yeah.
And they are gorgeous drums.
Thank you.
And I'll say this, just from my own testimonial, I sat behind that kit, which again, the audience will see it throughout this video, and it was that for me. It was no drum, and the audience knows I've played every drum set out there.
Right.
No drum has ever had that type of reaction under my hands.
They're cool.
Yeah, just attack and punch. Like you said, it's the sound of generations. It's a legacy. It's more than just an instrument, it's a legacy.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, as you look towards the future, where do you want WFL 3 to go?
Just to get the word out stronger that we are different, and WFL 3 Drums is owned by a Ludwig and the Ludwig family, but we are doing our own thing, and we're not a big corporation. We can sit down with the 4 people here and say, well, we're thinking about changing this, or we're thinking about doing that, and we can do it.
Yeah.
The corporations have 15 meetings to decide where to have the meeting to discuss that. And by then, it's 6 months have gone by, and who knows what could happen. So
then it changes, and now it's totally different.
Yeah, like the train has left the building, and we're still thinking about, gee, where should we go?
Yeah.
But I love that flexibility.
We were talking about the stable of stars, and looking at that artist relations roster, that roster of top drummers of all time. That was your roster.
Yes.
And I think that speaks to not just the quality of the product, but the quality of understanding your artist, understanding the drummer. And we talk about generations. Right behind you, got Kofi Baker, son of Ginger Baker.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just the generation building the drums, it's the generation playing the drums.
Right.
And I think it's a testament to that artist experience, the customer experience, the client experience, whatever you want to call it. So what do you think it is about your history in that space that really draws talent to you as this is somebody I trust with my career and want to work with?
Well, I'm a drummer. I played drums since I was 6. Hung out with drummers, with my father. My mother and father would take me backstage with Buddy Rich or Joe Morello or Roy Haynes. And I just loved watching them. So when I got into being artist relations, that was just a natural. But they would always say, here's a pack of tickets, we got your front row seats. I said, I don't want front row seats. I want to sit back by the drum tech. And I would. I'd give the tickets back to the road manager and go hang with the drum tech, watching the drummer, watching how he played, what he was playing. Then after the show, I could say, you ought to try this pedal, or you ought to try these heads, and I'd make suggestions. And they all started trusting me so much that they would just not question. They'd just say, send me whatever you think I need. And I think it's a matter of trust goes a long way in this business. And if somebody knows you know what you're talking about, that that says a lot. And so when I came out with my drums, you know, I know what a drum should sound like. And that's from experience.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, I sat on these drums, and they're in the showroom.
Yeah.
So, not sure last time they were tuned or anything like that, but they were in tune. They were punchy. They sounded huge, and there's no muffling.
No.
And anywhere.
No.
And the funny thing is on these drums, you don't want it.
Right.
Like it does resonate and get out of the way quickly,
Yeah.
which is nice,
Yeah.
but like that resonance is so pure and round.
Well, yeah.
Which I know you went to Blackbird Studios, and actually the drum right next to you is the brand new
Yes.
thin maple shell.
All maple.
Right, guys, so what's really cool about this is just recently actually, WFL III has upgraded their shell construction. Right here, we have a 100% maple shell, and it's completely thin. I mean, it's a very thin shell, which means a lot of tonality, a lot of volume, but also a lot of warmth. And I'm going to show you the difference. This is the shell, still great quality that was used before they switched to this thinner, fully maple shell. But just check out this tone really quick. So again, I mean, that's a very resonant shell. And it sounds really great, but check this out. This is the new shell technology. It's 100% maple and a little bit thinner. Really pronounced sound, a lot of warmth. That's the biggest thing I hear difference in the room. You might not be able to hear on the camera, is there is a ton of warmth on this new shell technology. I mean, it sounds, it might not pick up on the camera here, or excuse me, on the microphone here, but the difference in the warmth, the tonality, the fullness, kind of the roundness, as well as the resonance. Again, this will be a side-by-side now. Check this out. That's pretty incredible. And again, they are making the drums the way Ludwig drums have been made for generations. And when you tested that versus the older version, which was like a hybrid shell, and maybe a little bit thicker.
Yeah, a little bit thicker and a mahogany center core.
Got it. This drum outperformed it and had, I think, if I remember the words correctly, had a round, fuller tone.
Natural.
Natural.
Yeah.
When I hit it, it's much warmer. There's a lot of body and fullness to it. Not to say the other one's not good by any means.
Right.
But this is a classic thin maple shell.
Absolutely. And the other shell, our original shell we started with, was a great sounding shell.
Yeah.
But I thought, wow, if this one's great, can we get fantastic? And I talked to the shell company and they said, well, sure, if we change your recipe a little bit, keep it thin. Turns out this one's a little thinner.
Yeah.
But the tone is just...
It's unreal.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the photograph for a second. You know, so I had a chance to see the photograph of Senior in the factory, testing the drums.
Yeah.
Big smile on his face.
Yeah.
I just want to know...
Yeah, did you notice he's got not only a suit and tie and vest, but spats on in the factory?
He's dressed to the nines. He's ready. But I'll say... I have to wonder, you know, because we talked about this as well, you know, legacy is important and family is extremely important. You know, not to get off topic, we talked about how I lost my mom a couple years ago and I have a snare drum dedicated to her. So I completely understand the importance of that, but I can only imagine looking at that photo, and I'm just curious, you know, obviously you had the moment of like, he was 59, I'm 59, I'm going to do this, but looking at that photo, how did it make you feel? Especially considering it was the spark you needed from the universe at that time to say, this is what I'm going to do. I have to do this.
Well, terror comes to mind. But, you know, I mean, starting a drum company, because everybody always asked me when I was just hanging out at the drum shows before I started, and they'd all say, when are you going to start your own company? When are you going to... I'm like, I'm not thinking like that. But that picture did it for me, and like you said, the universe sparked it. It just it was excitement and a relief to know, okay, now I got a path and I'm going down it.
What's next, and where is the focus for you and the company?
Well, I just, you know, I'm really excited to see it growing, but I'd like to see we have to see more growth, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm different and I'm not with the corporate Ludwig. And WFL III Drums is a approachable. You could come to Kansas and tour the factory anytime. You could call me and I answer the phone. And so we're more approachable, family feel drum business. And that's exciting to me, but we have to get that word out more.
Absolutely. And I, again, from my own testimonial, the family feel is absolutely present from the moment you walk in the door. And everybody is passionate and excited and willing to do whatever it takes. And the product is incredible. So it's,
Thank you.
Of course, it's the product's there, the people are there, the legacy's there. Let's just get it out.
And everybody here's a drummer.
Exactly.
So, and I didn't hire that way. I didn't have that on the job application. By the way, you have to be a drummer. But it just worked out that way, and it's just perfect.
Yeah, because they get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. It's a company founded by legacy, generations of drummers, supported by drummers, and built for the drummers.
Right. Welcome to WFL III Drums. I wanted to start the tour back here where it all starts. This is where the raw tubes come in from Nordic Shell Company, and Nordic makes their own plies. So for us, they make them extra thin. So it's the thinnest all maple shell on the market. They have beautiful tone, just in the raw state. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a resonant, easy to tune, easy to play shell. And I'm very happy with what we're getting out of these now. They're just beautiful shells. After we cut them to the size, they come over here to Quentin's area, who then cuts off at the top of the shell. First, he'll bevel the edge slightly. Thank you.
45 degree on the inside.
And then it gets cut down with a scarf joint. And then this was part of the shell. Then it gets flipped over, and that becomes the support ring. So it's a finished inside edge, which doesn't affect the sound or do anything other than I wanted it that way because it looks good. It looks finished. And then Quentin will glue that in place, and after that sits and gets sanded down, it's going to make its way into the paint room and get finished.
Every WFL III drum has a reinforcement.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah, and it is part of its own shell, so it's even cooler. I mean,
Same wood, same drum.
yeah. So then we move into the paint department. Thanks, Q. So all of our shells are painted, the aluminum and the wood. We don't do any wraps whatsoever. So every finish you're going to see today is a painted finish. Scott, our master painter and artist, has been experimenting with different things and doing a great job moving us forward and keeping everything exciting and fresh. And these are just some of the samples of the possibility we can do with a fade. We can add sparkle to anything. We're experimenting with some classic finishes that's painted, black oyster pearl, but not quite ready yet for the world. And this is just a sample of some of the colors we can do. These have Galaxy multicolored sparkle in them, which gives a beautiful effect, and you can have any color you want and then add sparkle or add Galaxy sparkle, or keep it plain if you want, but that's no fun.
Yeah,
Everything's got to have Galaxy.
that's right. You actually have to remove it if you don't want it.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of sandpaper. Here's our marketing staff.
Hello.
So after the shells come out of the paint department, they come over here to the Herco automated drilling machine, which is just a beautiful piece of precision machinery that drills all these holes, and it changes tools automatically and drills the little tiny hole for the badge, and the vent hole gets routed out, and it does all this process in about 7 minutes. And it's just amazing. I love watching it, but the reason our vent hole is so big is, as you'll see with the aluminum shell snare, we cut the 3 through the shell, the aluminum shell, and you can't cut the 3 in the wood, so we cut a larger vent hole and then put the badge with the 3 on it over that. So you're still getting a larger venting area. Because I discovered when I started, they were cutting the 3 vent hole through the aluminum shell, and I thought, yeah, that looks great, that's very cool. However, a bigger vent hole means quicker snare head response. So it gives it a little snappier snare sound, so it's functional as well as beautiful.
Yeah, I got to test that out myself, and it is, again, that's how you're getting away with the blue gels, the dampeners, just
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Good way.
yeah. A little more venting goes a long way. So,
And it looks cool.
yeah, and it looks cool. Let's go to final assembly.
This lovely photo.
That's
Sure, let Mr. Sunshine know what you think about it in the comments.
or else. So after the drums are finished with their painting and clear coat and drilling, they come into Dave's area, who is our final master assembler, and he puts the finishing touches on everything. And every step of the way, through every department, everybody is keeping their eyes on quality and double checking everything. Dave is the final stop for that. If he sees anything wrong, it goes back in the shop.
And if he misses it, it's his fault.
Oh yeah. If he misses it, yeah.
I have his card, so just let me know.
Yeah. And we put as much love and attention to the inside of the shell as we do the outside. And you can, yeah.
It's, I mean, you can tell it's been perfectly sanded. This feels like a unified piece too, not like it was something that was glued in.
Yeah.
And then there's that air vent too. You can see it actually right here with the 3.
Every drum has its own sticker here.
Serial number and my signature.
That's great. I love that it's transparent too, so it's not,
Yeah.
it's not just, you still get the grain finish.
Right. Well, we were talking about doing new finishes. This is something Scott came up with, which we're excited about. It looks kind of like white marine pearl.
Yeah, it does.
So this is a paint job, not a wrap. We do not do wraps.
It looks like a wrap,
Yeah.
but there's no seam.
So the next step, to do this same process in a different color. We could do red or black or whatever, which I think will be real cool. And I'm excited to get this out and show everybody in a full kit very soon. This is the Black Galaxy that I just love. And under stage lights, this just looks stunning. Yeah, so the bottom line is you can have any color you want. When you nail down the color, then you have to decide you want to leave it plain gloss, add sparkle, or add galaxy sparkle. Then it gets a little more, even more trickier, because you can have chrome lugs, black lugs, or brass lugs. So when you get that nailed down, let us know. We'll build your kit of your dreams. You dream it, we'll build it. We've seen a lot of the black Galaxy, but look at this. Blue Galaxy with brass hardware. And then we've also got some of the wood grain still showing through on a blue stain.
It's got that gloss on it.
Yep. This was a custom order from a customer that wanted a stripe, and you'd swear that was an inlay of a wrap, but it's not. That's paint.
And it looks so great with that. That's awesome. Especially with the gold hardware. Like,
Yeah.
put it all together.
Yep. In our display room, we've got several one-of-a-kind test drums, test finishes. Things waiting to be shipped.
Come on. Yeah, this is beautiful. Look at this. Gong in the background. There's a reason it's called display room. You got a bottom kit over here, looks like.
Yes.
Big old 26-inch kick drum.
Red Galaxy.
Red Galaxy. Oh, we got Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
These are some of the test samples we're making, and just give you another idea of the options that are out there.
So you got kind of flat colors, sparkle colors, Galaxy sparkle looks like
Yep.
on all of those, which are that purple.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
But this is why I'm so happy and excited about doing the paints, because you can't do this in wrap. If you have wraps, you have 12 finishes, let's say, and that's it.
Yeah.
And this just gives you an absolute infinite number. Look at this kind of a champagne sparkle.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know, after I showed you that,
Yeah.
the endorser that was for was texting me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on tour and he needed some tension rods. And I'm like,
Oh, just now?
we were just talking.
Yeah.
No, when we were, yeah.
Look at that. So that is a black paint with a gold sparkle.
Right.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Talk about Galaxy.
Right.
And then, you know, we can do the traditional plain silver sparkle, red sparkle, blue sparkle.
Purple's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking to do.
But just the subtleness of the Galaxy on white is,
That's beautiful. I think it's important too for those watching at home that like everything you're seeing right now is
right. This was a beautiful finish that,
like a nice like light blue.
so we're having fun with this because it's experimenting, it's creating, it's letting your imagination go wild. And you know drummers and their imaginations.
Yep, everybody watching knows this drummer is quite
This is kind of a cool finish too. It's kind of a patina type,
Yeah,
hand rubbed.
and it's a wood drum.
Yeah, yeah.
That's incredible. Look at that. That's really cool.
And with something like this, you know, they're all pretty much one of a kind because they have to be somewhat hand sanded and hand worked. So no two are going to be alike.
You can make the argument every drum that leaves the facility is one of a kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's made with fast finishing hardware, hand built,
Right.
hand sanded, one of a kind.
True. Yeah, and we also make lampshades.
Right. Market for lampshades.
Yeah. Call B3.
That's right. They make drums and lampshades.
Sure.
We can make lampshades with the same finish as your drum.
Yep.
What do you want them to take away from this video and this experience?
Really test them
Yeah.
and play them.
Yeah, I put them to the test yesterday and
Yeah.
it blew my mind. Again, they're going to see it, the clip of me losing it a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
damn, those drums feel huge. Holy crap. That thing sounds incredible. Let's hear each drum on its own really quick, just so I can show you, because again, we heard it in the mix, but this is just the kick, and again, this is just coming out of my little DJI mic right here, and the DJI microphone over there on that camera, but check out just the kick for a second. There is no muffling in there, guys. There's no pillows, there's no sheets or blankets. I'll show you in just a second. There's nothing in there. It's just big, punchy. And this is a DW9000 pedal right here, which is what we use at home. Check out the snare with the wires off. Getting just beautiful resonance, and it decays really quickly, which is nice. Again, it's an aluminum shell, so you would, that's something that you would expect. But here's with the snares on. I mean, just big. Now here's the 13-inch tom. It is mounted on a snare stand or a tom stand, so it is getting a ton of resonance, but check this out. God, that's so punchy. Holy crap. I mean, it just, boom, super attack. Then we go into the 14-inch floor tom. I mean, guys, that's ridiculous. Now here's the big 16. I mean, that's unreal. And then of course, everything you're seeing in here and that you've seen throughout is going to be hand painted. There are no wraps on these drums. In fact, check this one out specifically. This is incredible. From far away, I thought this was a wrap. And now this is a B stock model. There's a couple of items that they were doing to kind of test this one out. But look at that. That looks like a wrap. I mean, that is absolutely incredible with the WFL III logo. And then also every drum comes with a trick throw off. Look at this. There's no muffling on that. I mean, again, grab a stick. That sounds incredible. This has been sitting on a shelf. We don't even know if last time it was tuned. I mean, this is an incredible drum. But then also check this out. This is one of the first prototype drums that Bill started work on. In fact, these are the original lugs that were machined out of aluminum with the 3 logo on there. You have the 3 vent/badge there. Then you have the WFL III logo right there on the actual snare drum. So this was one of the first ones. In fact, this is back when these drums had this logo on it as a badge, where now we have the 3 logo. But this is an aluminum shell. And one of the cool things, again, is this is all painted. This is not a wrap. I believe this one might be powder coated actually. And then on the inside, they also finished the shell on the inside. So you can see that there. I don't know when this was tuned last. Holy moly, there's no muffling on that, you guys. That's freaking incredible. As it suggests, this was built in the USA. It's the sound of generations.
The Ludwig family in its entirety.
That's right. All right, I am now joined with the 4th generation of the Ludwig family, and I'm so excited to have them both. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourselves for the audience, and then we'll jump right in.
All right, awesome. I'm Maggie Ludwig, and
hello, I'm Olivia Ludwig, her younger sister.
And they are the 4th generation.
yes, we are.
They're also the next generation under the Ludwig family name, and so I'm curious, everybody in the drums knows the name Ludwig. It's one of the most well-known names in music in general. So what does the name Ludwig mean to each of you?
For me, Ludwig is something that we kind of grew into. We would go to conventions as soon as we could walk, as soon as we could hold a drumstick. And we didn't really grow up in drumming, like with the instrument until recently, but we would still be included obviously as a family. And we didn't, at first it was just like my dad makes drums and he's kind of crazy.
And we're always around crazy drummers and
that show us so much love.
rock and roll, and
it's such a long history with them.
Yeah.
Like my dad and all the artists from the Ludwig days who still loved him so much after he was outside of the music industry. So then they kind of like showed that same love to us, and I started to realize, wow, this maybe goes back way deeper than I could even imagine.
it's about connections, you know, family feeling with people that might not be your immediate family. So, yeah.
You've said this a couple times over the weekend with the word community.
Yes.
And I think that's really important. And as you've gotten back into drums, especially as adults, but also adults in the industry,
Right.
you know, what does the word community kind of spark in your mind, specifically to your experience working with drummers and kind of getting into the industry?
Ooh.
I mean, everyone's trying to get better, and I think the community wants us all to get better, and I haven't...
And connect along the way. I feel like I've been saying connections a lot too, so it's about connecting and pushing each other to be better.
Yeah, Maggie and I, we just started, and we had this day today with all these drummers here, and we were all playing around on the kit, and we didn't feel bad.
It's nerve-wracking.
With our paradiddles or whatever. We were like, we know we're accepted, everybody starts here, and everyone was just
I got a couple beats under my belt, and that's about it, and then everyone goes crazy and wails away.
It's a really warm community.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that, you know, your dad and I talked about this a bit as well, but the family aspect.
Yeah.
Right, like walking in, just like I said about hitting the drums, where you hit them and you immediately feel them. It's the same thing with the family. Like feeling, you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, but like not in a bad way.
We're
you know,
here.
It feels like you, all three of you have just like welcomed me in as like, hey, come in, come hang out with us, have dinner with us, like, let's talk stories. And I think that's the community at its best.
Right.
Is when we can all, nobody's judging each other, nobody's comparing your speed to the other person's. It's just about having a good time on the drums.
Right.
And I got to watch that firsthand with this Build It With Bill event, or Build It With 3 event, excuse me. And seeing, hey guys, let's get up on the kit, let's play together, and you guys get up on the kit.
I want to get everyone in here and groove.
It's really, it's organic. I mean, I think that the message gets lost that my dad started this in our, you know, ranch-style house in the suburbs of Chicago.
In our dining room,
like,
you know.
he would be, remember when we were young, like I was 10, you were 15 at the time, so
Yeah.
he's walking around, like, you know, on the phone with someone, he's like, girls, the shells didn't get delivered, and we're like, oh, Dad, that sucks.
Yeah.
And like, oh, dang.
I didn't realize the
No.
power behind, you know, everything.
What he was
And
doing.
I didn't
he was
really.
building this, and we had no idea, but we, you know, he was looping us in the whole time, because it's the three of us that live together, and just the hard work that he put in, you know, I think that's what makes us so grateful for anyone who's willing to be a part of
Just,
our community.
seeing how far he's come with everything is just insane.
It's
And
incredible.
so wholesome, and like I almost cried earlier when everyone was building their snare. I was like, this is awesome. I mean, 5 guys come in to build their own snare and share stories and connect.
Yeah, and play.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
play.
The word play is integral to what we do. Like, we play drums.
Right.
Obviously we play music, but we play drums, and like we often forget the word play. And that's a little bit of what today felt like. You know, we're all here together. We're,
Have fun.
Yeah, we're building snares, we're playing the drums, having a good time, having sandwiches. Like, it's, you know, it harkens back to, I think, a lot of us, especially been doing this a long time, of like the early days. You learn, you know, hang out with your bands or hang out with your friends, and that's what this was. And none of us really knew each other before today, or before yesterday even maybe, but that's what's so great about the community. So let's go back a little bit. I know it was a little while ago, but what was your reaction when he came to you and said, hey, I'm going to start doing drums again?
I was really excited. Yeah.
Did he just start making drums?
I think he was like, he's always, you know, missed being a part of the drum world, and no jobs really hit the same. Hey, that's a pun right there. Hit it. Hit it. I was really excited. I didn't know what to expect. I did not think it was going to become what it is now. Yeah.
I kind of always
unexpected.
I was so young that I think I always just saw him as like a rock star. We'd be at the Chicago show with one booth, not bigger than where we're sitting right now, and two snare drums. And I can barely see over the table, and people are coming by, and I'm like, yeah, we got drums.
Yeah, we got drums. Check it out. That's awesome. And I've watched you two over the last, again, 2 days. It's one of those things where you're having fun, it feels like it's more time, but I've watched you guys directly involved in making this as successful as possible. You know, whether it's pricing models or future planning or what, like the business side of things. And so, you know, clearly you're both extremely invested and interested in continuing on the family legacy. And I'm curious, what are some things that you think about for the future as far as where this company can go and the things that you maybe envision for the future?
Really, I want to make my dad proud. Like, I want him to look at this and think that he's making his dad proud.
Yeah.
That's all he ever wanted to do. And he's so, everything he does is really family driven. Like every night at 5 o'clock, maybe, or if having a drink and doing a cheers, he just cheers to mom and dad.
He does.
Like by himself. Like you hear him do that in the living room. Like, that's dad. He's very.
Don't make me cry.
No, like he's just so sweet. You know that.
I want to make dad. I want to make dad proud. I want to walk in his footsteps.
All the hard work. I want it to be everything he wants it to be.
I'm curious. You know, obviously, I've heard some stories about dipping into artist relations, dipping into, again, the pricing stuff. Like, how does that feel for you now, going from this was dad's thing to now it's starting to become our thing?
A little overwhelming, I can't lie. Because we don't have experience really, apart from learning through real life experiences and meeting people.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what, it brings us back to community.
It feels like it's just history repeating itself, and it's guided. It feels like there's something in our blood, in our ancestry, that this is what you do. And
it feels natural, man.
Yeah, like I told you, like, oh, my dad just makes drums. It never crossed my mind. People would ask us at drum conventions, I'd be like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, what's my 5-year plan in the business? Like, I have no idea. And then it would just be like, oh, girls, come with me to this show, or like come to the Nashville show, or we have to go to the studio for this. And it was just, oh yeah, I'll help. I'll do that. I'll help. And now we're helping a lot.
Yeah.
And it feels really good to.
It does.
He just gives us the reins, you know, like he trusts us so much. So we just try to do our best in everything we do and follow his guidance, which is building trust with people, being an honest person, being as proud as you can about your product. And then, like he says, the rest will follow.
And that all just feels natural, you know, to do.
Absolutely. And something we haven't talked about yet, and I think it's important because I've spent the last couple days with your family watching you guys interact, not just on the drums, but just as a family together. And it seems like, and I can identify as, I have a daughter, you know, she's 13 and she's a pain in my ass, but, you know, you are very close with your dad. And as a dad myself, it's something that is really encouraging and inspiring. I try to be the best dad I can be. But what do you think it is about your dad that has helped bring you guys so close together?
He's just really been there, like, for us always.
You're our rock. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to explain.
And like having a whole drum company and just like always, you know, we'd come home like from our friend's house and he was there.
Right.
Always. Like, how you doing? He wasn't like, you know,
we're good. We're
didn't feel
pulling it
like
together.
Kind of absent in order to do the drum stuff. Like like you did as well. You took time off to have your family. And in my case, I feel like that's what I needed from him. And he gave me that, and then he gave me chasing his dream. Like he gave me that too, because he, you know, he didn't feel like he couldn't have both. Like he wanted his dream to come to fruition, and he showed us how you can do that.
Yeah.
Like that is
just by doing it. That you can't explain it.
Yeah.
We just watched it happen, and the loyalty and the care. He just loves drums and everything that comes with drums, playing them, making them, connecting with people over them. It's his passion, and he's shown us what it means to really be passionate and pour everything Wasn't that pretty good?
True.
That was pretty good.
I want a pillow with that.
Yeah. He's just shown us how to be passionate and chase your dreams and never give up.
Take all of your experience, and it could be drums, could not be drums, whatever it is, just think as far back as you can about your relationship with your dad, your relationship in this industry with drummers, with music, up until this moment right now. And if you can boil it down to one word, what's the first word that pops into your mind?
Love. I know we already talked a lot about love.
Nothing's popping right now. Talk about love.
Well, it's all about love, man. That's, I'm thinking back as far as I can, and just the love that I have for our dad is just, you can't even explain it.
I feel like the word it bubbled. It had to take some time to bubble up there. It was experience, because it's the experiences that make everything so much richer, and everything the first time was like so nerve-wracking, like going backstage for the first time, even with my dad, and then going backstage just by ourselves, delivering a snare drum to an artist every first time, and we do it together.
Yeah.
We do it as family.
And we experience it together. I love that, yeah. Kind of like we can do whatever we put our minds to.
Yeah.
One thing I'll ask on behalf of myself, as well as the Empresses of Ludwig, and of course Mr. Bill himself, is check out the drums. You don't have to buy them right off the bat. You don't have to do anything, but check them out. Just try them.
See what we got.
Bang on them.
We're working on a new website. Hopefully that'll be up by the time that this is up.
Yeah.
Because it has been hard. If anyone has any challenges in the past trying to, discover more about us, but we're gonna get there.
Absolutely. And I'm just really excited for the future.
Me too. And
Yeah,
we're
me
glad to
too.
share this with you, Kyle. Because
Yeah,
it's a
thank
gift
you
that
for
keeps
coming
giving.
out. Yeah.
Our dad teaches us, we spread it with other people, you spread it with your community, and then we're all
Raise the vibrations.
Yes.
On that note, thank you both.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, we'll close up.
All right.
Amazing.
Bye, Arizona drummer community.
I love that.
Bye.
All right, I lied. I have one more thing. For all the drummers watching, because again, my channel is pretty much exclusively drummers, which is nice because they get it.
Good.
What do you want them to take away from this video and this experience?
I want you to check us out. And if if anybody buys a drum or a kit and doesn't like it, I'll take it back. But trust me, they won't.
Yeah.